Are you confused and undecided about how to market your invention? Let me clarify things for you. In this two-part video, I'm going to tell you about two common methods which inventors use to successfully market their ideas. I'll explain the steps involved and the benefits and drawbacks of each method. Let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Elias Borges, and I'm a patent lawyer and a registered patent agent with over 32 years of experience. I help people protect their inventions and get their products to market. If this is something that you might be interested in, then you should subscribe to this channel. So like I said, there are two ways to market your invention. The first method involves selling or licensing your invention directly to a company that's interested in selling or commercializing your invention. The second method is to commercialize the invention directly by becoming a distributor and selling directly to the target market. Both of these methods require a lot of time, a lot of effort, a significant investment of money, and oftentimes a fair bit of luck. In this video, I'm going to discuss the first method in detail. Selling the idea. This is how most inventors think that they'll be commercializing their invention. Essentially, this method consists of finding a group of companies which might be interested in purchasing the invention and then pitching the idea to each of those companies. There's 3 steps to this method: preparing the idea for sale, gathering prospective companies, and then contacting each company and pitching the idea to that company. The first step, namely prepping the idea, basically involves developing the idea to the point where it can be reliably demonstrated, easily understood, and proven to be effective. Each invention is unique, of course, so this step will depend on the particular invention. Oftentimes, it involves creating a working prototype which is reliable and attractive. A lot of inventors spend a lot of time making their prototype as professional looking as possible in order to make a good impression. This is much easier today thanks to the availability of 3D printing technology. If the invention involves software, like a new type of smartphone app, then the software is usually developed to the point where it can be demonstrated reliably. For some inventions, short videos or pictorial representations may be necessary to fully explain the invention. Since the invention is being prepped in order to present it to a would-be purchaser, the invention must be displayed in a manner which is easy and quickly understood, without the prospect having to spend a lot of time and effort trying to understand it. This is why prototypes and demos are often necessary. All of the engineering problems have to be solved. All of the bugs and imperfections have to be fixed. The goal is to create a prototype or a demo which is so impressive and so professional that it blows the audience away when you present it to them. The invention you will demonstrate has to have a wow factor. Basically, the invention has to be more or less perfected in order to make it sufficiently reliable and professional looking to make a positive impression on a would-be purchaser. The net effect is that in many cases, you're not going to save any time or money trying to develop the invention if you plan on selling just the idea. It's very difficult to sell an idea, but it's a lot easier to sell an impressive prototype. Now, some types of inventions are not easy to translate into a prototype. Perhaps a software demo or automation might be the way to approach those kinds of inventions. Sometimes a short video may be required. While these alternatives to a prototype may be possible, from my experience, nothing beats a working 3-dimensional prototype. Early on in the process, you should generally consider whether or not you need to file for patent protection. At the very least, you should consider doing a patent search so you don't inadvertently try to reinvent something that's already been patented. You don't want to spend a huge amount of time trying to solve engineering problems and building prototypes only to discover that your product has already been protected by someone else. This first step generally takes a lot of time and a fair bit of financial investment. You'll probably have to talk to engineers and prototype builders along the way. If so, you'll want to make sure that your invention is either patent pending or that effective confidentiality agreements are in place. The second step is identifying the companies that might be interested in buying or licensing the idea. This is generally the easiest step in the process. The step involves finding a database which contains detailed information about a variety of different companies. These databases are generally referred to as business directories. These databases contain detailed information about a large number of companies, including the type of businesses that they are in, what sort of products and services the company provides, the number of employees, and the names and contact information of key people within the company. These directories use SIC codes and NAICS codes to describe the type of products and services each business provides. Using these SIC codes and NAICS codes, you can search these directories to find a list of companies which might be interested in your invention. You can then extract the names and contact information about key people in those companies you might be interested in discussing your invention with. There are several of these business directories available online. You can usually use those online directories to purchase lists of prospective companies you could approach. These directories are available for businesses in Canada, the United States, Europe, and elsewhere. The last step in this method is to pitch the idea to the companies on your list of prospective buyers. This is where things tend to get difficult. In fact, this is by far the hardest and most frustrating part of this method. To be clear, it's easy to submit your idea to those companies. All you have to do is write the CEO of each of the companies and send them a courier package containing a slick presentation kit describing your invention and how it would be an attractive acquisition. In some cases, you might actually be able to include a working prototype of the invention in the presentation kit. Of course, it's a good idea to have filed a patent application before sending out any of these presentation kits, otherwise you might lose your intellectual property rights. The problem with simply sending out an information kit is that it's unlikely to reach the CEO. Unless you're dealing with a small company, these sorts of information kits are most likely to be either ignored or directed to a company department specifically set up to deal with unsolicited submissions. In 32 years of practicing patent law, I've never heard of an inventor getting anywhere with those submission departments. The real hard part of this step is to get your invention in front of someone like the CEO or president of the company to make your pitch. The CEOs and presidents of most significant companies usually get inundated with sales pitches. As a result, it is difficult to get the attention of key people within the company unless you have some sort of inside track or some other sort of advantage. Simply selling a sales letter or information kit won't likely get results because it's unlikely to reach the people it needs to reach. It's unlikely the material you send them will get serious attention, but it has been known to happen. It might be a different story with a smaller company. At least that's been my experience for the past 32 years. You might get better results if you network effectively and found someone who could broker an introduction with the right people in the target company. That would require a lot of legwork and a lot of time, but getting introduced is more likely to get you a fair hearing than blindly sending a courier package. So the first hurdle is making that initial serious contact with the prospective customer. But even if you do make that serious contact, it's still an uphill trek. Convincing a company to invest in a new product isn't easy, especially if it's not the sort of thing they usually do. To be blunt, from what I've seen, The invention has to have an immediate wow factor that blows the sales prospect away as soon as you show it to them. Even then, there are at least 100 good reasons why a company might not want to do business with you, even if they were seriously impressed with your invention. Maybe the company can't take on a new product, or maybe the company already has too many products that they know how to deal with. But it's not hopeless. If you can get your invention before the right people in the company, and if that invention is seriously impressive enough to wow them, then there is a chance that you can either sell or license the invention to them, or get them to suggest additional leads to people who might be interested. If your invention is really impressive, then it's worth a try. That's my experience from 32 years of working with clients trying to get their inventions to the marketplace. Selling your invention to a company is not an easy thing to do, but I have seen it done. In 32 years, I've seen it done a few times. Really, your invention has to be a knockout, and you have to put in a lot of legwork to get yourself in front of the CEO. Generally, from my experience, smaller companies are more approachable than large ones. So that's the first part of the story of how you sell your invention, how you market it. I'm going to be doing another video on the second method of getting your invention sold and into the marketplace. That'll be in a few days, so watch for that. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, please comment. Feel free to ask me any question in the comments. I'll be happy to help you out if I can. See all of you later.